Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most overpowered Minthara build for patch 8 of Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to be using the new subclasses from patch 8, as well keeping it on brand and on theme for Minthara. So she will be staying as a paladin, and Oath of Vengeance in particular. We'll also be multiclassing this with the Shadow Magic Sorcerer. There's two ways to start this. If we start paladin, we get heavy armor proficiency. If we start as the sorcerer, we get constitution saving throw proficiency, which will give us a bonus to holding or concentrations on spells. Depends what you rather more. I'm just going to go with the paladin here because I think the paladin has an easier start in the game. Oath of Vengeance gives the Inquisitor's Might. If we daze a target, we can land hold person or command much easier, which is really nice. We're going to go with an ability score spread of, you can use a spread like this with 16 strength, 12 dexterity, 14 constitution, 8 intelligence, wisdom, and 16 charisma. However, if you got late game items, you can dump stats depending like your dexterity. The gloves of dexterity can replenish your dexterity there. Or you can also use a Constitution Amulet if you want to spread these stats out a bit, dump one of these stats. We do want to have some wisdom, and in particular, wisdom is important because our saves on like command and hold person are wisdom based, so we don't want to fail those. Now, then we can put our final points into like, I guess, dexterity there, and we'll roll with that. But again, you can use the other stat spread. We just want to have 16 charisma and 16 strength, depending on the weapons that we'll be rolling with. Alternatively, you can also use strength potions if you want, but into level 2 here, we get Divine Smite, which is a big component of this because we can fuel our smites with spell slots, and smites are obviously very strong. For a fighting style, I'd recommend defense. This gives a +1 armor class. Although if you want to go to Great Weapon Master or Great Weapon Fighting here to reroll your damage die, I just think the better of these is the increase to our armor class. Now for the prepared spells, I'd recommend having the smites. It's always nice to have them, and bless. The paladin spell list is kind of sparse. We're going to be mostly using Divine Smite. Level 2, we get the Abjure Enemy. I can frighten enemy. They'll have disadvantage ability checks and attack rolls, cannot move. Or Vow of Enmity here, which is super useful because this gives you advantage on attack rolls against the enemy. Don't apply it on the enemy, apply it on yourself, then you have advantage on all attack rolls for 10 turns. It works that way. It's great. We also get the Bane spell and Hunter's Mark, which is really nice because we'll give additional damage whenever we attack a target. Can leave Shield of Faith there. Into level 4, this gives us another lay hands charge for our healing spells, another spell, and we can take a feat here. Now, I would recommend actually increasing our charisma here, or taking the alert for the +5 to initiative, which is really useful on honor mode. Into level 5, extra attack, hold person, misty step. Big stocks here in terms of usefulness. Hold person is great because if we daze a target, we're more likely to land this, and then we have critical hits, and critical smites will wipe out anybody. And Misty Step, great for closing the gap between enemies. We can also take like the Branding Smite, magic weapon, your choice there. Nothing super needed, we just need the Divine Smite. Now, we could go here for the Aura Protection, which gives our Charisma modifier as a bonus to saving throws, which are really good. I'm just going to show you a couple different versions of this. So we'll go with the Shadow Magic Sorcerer. The Strength of the Grave, if we get reduced to 0 health, we stand back up with 1. And we get to choose some cantrips, which really powers us up because we can take Booming Blade. What's great about Booming Blade is we can do a Divine Smite and a Booming Blade. Just crazy damage. Then we can also take some more cantrips. I like Firebolt just if we need to explode anything. Mage Hand can throw healing potions at you or throw water to set up double damage for your lightning bolts. And then Bone Chill is always good to stop the target from receiving healing. Minor Illusion's also nice to have. Now for the spells, I'd recommend taking Shield. Gives you a +5 to your armor class as a reaction. Super useful for survivability. And Magic Missile. Magic Missile just guarantees damage on the target. There's a target that's got like 2 health left, use a Magic Missile on him and then hit someone else with the other one. Now we also get to take another spell here. I think Thunderwave is the best choice. However, with the Shadow Magic Hound, we can take Chromatic Orb, which will give us all elemental damage types to help cover for that, which is pretty great. And for the meta magic, I'd recommend taking Distance Spell for the increased spell range and Twin Spell, because we can Twin Haste to ourselves and somebody else. Better if we take the Constitution saving throw proficiency by starting Sorcerer, because we don't want to lose concentration on haste. That can end your honor mode runs. Now, level 3 here, we get the Eyes of the Darkness. This is the only way we can get Dark Vision here, unless we took the Warlock, but the normal darkness won't give us Dark Vision. This one will. This uses 2 sorcery points. It creates a heavy cloud of darkness. We can hide out in it. Fits thematically. She's from Menzoberranzan. It just makes sense. Shark down there. We also get to take another spell here. And I'd recommend taking either Scorching Ray or Shadow Blade. Shadow Blade was added to the spell list in patch 8. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Very high damage if you want to go min-max in terms of damage. And then for the meta magic, we'll take quicken spell. Spells that take an action, we'll take a bonus action instead. And at level 4, we get ourselves another choice in cantrip. Ray of Frost, I guess. And then we'll take 2 really good options. Scorching Ray, obviously, damage. Mirror Image will give you a +9 armor class, so that can increase your survivability tenfold. We'll just go Scorching Ray, though. It gives us another option for range. And at our feat level 4 here, we'll take Charisma boosted all the way up to 20. Again, Alert is another awesome choice. And then here, once we make it to level 5, we give more sorcery points and level 3 spells. Now, I'd recommend taking Lightning Bolt because this is huge damage. As I said, Mage Hand can throw a water bottle, set up double damage for this. So that's upwards of 80, total of 96 damage potential from a Lightning Bolt, which is really good. Fireball is also good if you like it. Counterspell can be great, although we don't have a lot of spell slots in comparison to some other classes. And Haste, again, is good because we can twin this to another character as well as ourself. So that's also another good choice. At level 6 here, this is when we get the Hound of Ill Omen. Summon forth a creature of darkness, 3 sorcery points and a bonus action. The Hound, very useful. And then we can take another spell here. Fireball, Haste, Counterspell, one of those 3. And even Sleet Storm if you like that one. I think a Fireball Lightning Bolt just give us more combat options. We can take a level 7 here, which will give us some nice spells like Ice Storm. But it's probably best to stay level 6 here, take Aura of Protection. It does mess up our spell selection here, so you just have to reapply whatever spells that you wanted to take. But this gives us that nice +6 bonus to our team's saving throws, which is extremely useful for survivability. What's great about this is we get actually up to level 5 spells, so that's good. And on top of this, we get a lot of really useful effects. So now I'll go over gear to show off the best choices here to make yourself strong as possible. I like to have the Birthright hat. This will give us a +6 to our Aura of Protection, so that's great for the better saving throws, also for better spell casting and all things considering Charisma. Cloak Protection for better armor class, and then we got the Armor Persistence. This is going to be the best armor for heavy armor. Although if we wanted to build around Dexterity more, we could use the Armor of Agility. That's a good choice too, but this is just going to give us more armor class. And then I also have the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies here, which will give us, we stack Reverberation when the target gets hit with Thunder, Lightning, or Radiant damage, which we have lots of. And on top of that, I'm also using the Sacred Star, which gives a 1d4 bonus radiant damage and applies radiating orbs on the target, which gives minus to the enemy's attack rolls. Then also have the Evasive Shoes for better armor class, Amulet of Greater Health. You can use really whatever amulet you'd like. Killer Sweetheart for critical hit on a smite, very, very effective. And then Ring of Protection for better armor class puts us at 27. And I got the Dead Shot here for an increased critical hit chance as well. A shield, you can use Viconia's Walking Fortress as well. But another thing we can do with this is actually, if you have any of the staffs that give you a free spell cast, we can use the Arcane Battery to upcast a Shadow Blade. Also, Marka Heshker can do this, or if you get the Illithid ability that gives you the free cast. So what this will do is we go Arcane Battery here, and then take Shadow Blade and upcast it, because this will give us an even stronger Shadow Blade. And then if we have ourselves the Resonance Stone, that doubles psychic damage, so that's a 4d8 of psychic damage doubled. Like an 8d8 of psychic damage. Crazy, crazy damage. And pair that with smites, this becomes pretty much unstoppable. That's exactly the way she wants it. So I'll show this off what it looks like in combat. Also, summoning your dog, it's permanent, so you can last through a long rest if you want to replenish your spell slots. Sorcery points. All right, so our dog actually rolled a higher initiative than us. Kind of funny. It can go in and apply the Ominous Bite here, which can apply an omen, and then we can recover sorcery points from doing that. But it's also got the Umbral Tangle, which is really good too, because it can bind targets in place. That one saved, this one didn't, so he's now stuck right there. And he looks like he's a melee character, so that's perfect. And then the dog can just hang out there. What's great about the dog is that if it gets hit with a melee attack that doesn't have radiant damage, it can get an extra dog, and then those dogs can splinter off even more. And a big component of this build is our Eyes of the Dark here, so we can use this just to help out with their survivability, because that's going to blind targets within it. And then when they're blinded, we have advantage on our attacks against them. Then with our bonus action, we can use our Soul Branding, which will give us additional fire damage on our next attack and give us even further movement speed. So then we can just kind of camp out in our darkness and we're good to go. And our dog unfortunately got slowed here, so we're just going to use it to go out and do a bite here. It does miss often. And unfortunately, since that was a reaction attack, it doesn't actually give us the extra dog. And the thing is, they've missed every attack. This one ran in here and actually tried to fight me, but for the most part, they haven't been able to do much. This guy's our biggest threat right now, so I'm just going to go over and eliminate him. And we can start off with a booming blade, or miss with our booming blade, and then follow up with a divine smites. Now we can upcast our divine smite depending on the threat that they are. The higher level, it scales to level 4, so that's going to give us our highest damage, so we can go boom with that. We rolled a hit, so we didn't have to worry about that. 46, 15, and 5. Crazy damage. Now the thing is, when we're obscured, we get extra damage on that, so we weren't technically obscured. But another thing, we can add the Inquisitor's Might to add us additional radiant damage and dazed targets with our attacks, so that's another nice use of our bonus action. And the thing is, they'll only really do throwing attacks at us when we're in darkness, so that's good too. Another nice thing is you can put your teammates in the darkness as well, and if they have Sharp Spear of the Evening, or the Eversight Ring, or the Steel Watcher Helmet, they'll be able to see from darkness too, so that's also kind of nice. And I was able to get my caster to apply haste here, so we can follow up. This target only needs 4 health to be taken out, so we could go with a magic missile and hit another target. But we're going to send a message with Booming Blade with advantage. Needed 18 to hit, we rolled a 19. Perfect, we don't have to give us the extra damage. 48, 7, and 9. Crazy, crazy damage. Now, if people avoid our darkness, we can spell cast out of it, or we can run out and chase them down and then follow up with a good old-fashioned divine smite, which should hopefully take this one out. We rolled a critical hit. Boom. 41, 78, and 6. That's crazy damage. And we'll run and chase over these guys as well, and then hit them with a booming blade because we have a second action. And this counts as heavily obscured because there's a shadow here. 74, 17, and 9. Crazy. And then we'll finally finish off against this target here. We may, I don't think this shadow is going to count, but yeah, it didn't count as darkness, but we'll go with the level 3 smite, hopefully finish them off. Need a 16 to hit. Boom, critical hit. 90, 33, 6. Yeah, crazy damage potential. So yeah, it's pretty strong. And this target was nice enough to run right up in front of us, so we'll start off with a nice booming blade. 82 and 17. Crazy. And we still have an action, but what we can also do is, since we haven't used many of our spells yet, we can find a place where we can get some good leverage on them. Maybe a Scorching Ray upcast to level 4. That should hopefully do it. And boom. Broke their concentration. That's what we wanted. And we have an attack left, so we can go with a bow attack there to finish them off. So yeah, that is the most overpowered Minthara build for patch 8. Eyes of the Dark, extremely useful. You can be stealthy, you can be a paladin, you can do so much damage between the Shadow Blade, Booming Blade, Divine Smite. And then you have utility spells too, or damage I should say spells. Lightning Bolt. You also got some healing, and you get the Lay Hands charges as well, which you can do 24 healing or 12 healing, and then also cure diseases. So yeah, there's a lot going on with this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.